Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's almost 10 on Friday. This Friday, it's the August 8th. Can you even believe it? August 8th. It is a glorious day here in Franklin. Whew. The sky is blue, blue, blue. The sun is just there. There are no clouds in the sky. Well, maybe one or two little wispy pieces of cotton in the sky. But other than that, it is a glorious day. And I think it's going to be a very nice weekend as well. So we're just about ready to start. I've got some really cute cards to show you today. And this morning I did, oh, good. So I hope that people are popping on. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is officially 10 o'clock. So let's just get started here. So today I'm going to show you both cards. I'm going to demonstrate both cards because they're so much fun. Hey, Jan, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome aboard, welcome aboard. So let me just bring them in here. These are the cards that I featured in my newsletter this week. First of all, I want to apologize for my mat. I didn't have time to change it this morning. I thought I had changed it last night, and I didn't. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. We're all crafters. You get it. Hey, Barbara. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Thank you for joining in. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to start with the Perfectly Pairs set. First of all, this designer series paper is absolutely gorgeous. You know, I say it all the time. It's called Painterly Pairs. There's so many different patterns in here. You get 12 sheets and it's all double-sided, but the colors and the designs are just absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So I love this. I think I've used already 3 packages of it. And of course, I'm using the Perfectly Pairs bundle, which has the stamps. Oh, sorry for that shadow. The stamps and the dies that go with it, which is really fun. So let me just show you how to make this card. And if you go to Pinterest, you're going to see lots and lots and lots of inspiration using this brand new suite. So it's gorgeous. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of old olive cardstock. You know the routine, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just going to get this nicely folded and crisped out. Let's see if it is perfect. There we go. Then the next thing is well, you know what? Let's just do the inside first. So here is my piece of basic white cardstock. And I am going to take one of the little images from the designer paper that I already go ahead, I just fussy cutted this out. I mean, I could have cut it with the die, but I just needed one, so I fussy cut this one. So I'm just going to put this on the inside, on the lower right-hand corner. I'm going to add some adhesive here to it, using my silicone pad because obviously I don't want to get it on my grid paper, my very messy grid paper. Again, I apologize for that. But anyway, so there is this, and I'm just going to put this right here like this. I think that's so pretty. Isn't that pretty? Art artists are unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. So anyway, that's that. That's going to be the inside, nice and decorated. And then I'm going to just add it to the inside of the card, like we always do. Here we go. Put this in like this. And then like that. Look at how pretty that looks. Isn't that beautiful? I just think it's so pretty. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to take my next piece of white cardstock, which is much smaller. It's 5 by 3 3/4. And then I'm going to take a piece of Darling Duckling. Here we go. Let me get these little pieces put over here. And I am going to take one of the images from the stamp set. It's the little linear flowers. And I'm going to just randomly stamp all over this, just to give it a little background, to make it its own designer paper like this. And I don't have to do the whole thing because obviously the inside is going to be covered with designer paper and another pair, actually 2. One. One. All right, so I'll just add that there just to make sure that it's all covered. One more here. There, perfect, easy, easy. So let's get that out of the way. Oh, and you know what? I'm going to do the outside of the envelope too, just on the lower right-hand corner. But we are going to use an envelope flap too, but I just thought the front would look nice to have a little stamp of the leaves of the flower. All right, so now the next thing I'm going to do is take this and put it on my basic white. This is a very fast card to make. And again, thinking in terms of the holidays and gifts to give people, it's always nice to have a stash of greeting cards ready and at the able to just fill out your message, put a stamp on it, and send it. So these would make lovely gifts. So there is this. Now the next thing is to take a piece of the designer paper, which I've already cut out. Look at how pretty that is. The colors are gorgeous. Now the background on this is Secret Sea, that very, very deep, deep blue. I call it the Mariana blue color. And then it's got some fresh, it's got the Darling Duckling yellow, and then Old Olive for the pears, a little bit of Balmy Blue, but it's so pretty. And a little bit of, this is a combination of Bubble Bath and I think it's Calypso. Anyway, so let me add some adhesive to this and put this on. Even the back, look at how pretty this back is. This is a combination of Darling Duckling and just a tinge of Petal Pink and a little bit, I think, a little bit of Old Olive. So there is this. I'm going to put this on just like that. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to trim this a nanosecond. I just noticed that this is just a tiny little bit long. Let's see if I corrected that. Oh, sometimes I shock myself. There we go. Perfect. So there is this. Now I'm going to bring in the pear and the leaves, and I'm going to put these on with dimensionals because I want it to pop up. I want it to give it just a little bit of extra pizzazz. Look at how pretty this is. You know, I wish that in my next life, well, I'm going to either be a Great Dane or Burmese mountain dog, but but if if I don't get that lucky draw of a card, then hopefully I'll become an artist. Because I think it would be so much fun to be so creative and to make all of these beautiful patterns and designs. And it's just amazing. It truly is a gift to be able to do these things freely. So let me get all these little dimensional papers off, and I'm going to pop this on. Oh, but before I do that, whoops, I almost made a silly little error. But there are no mistakes in Stampin' Up!, remember? There are none. So I'm going to take some of this ribbon that is in this suite. Look at how pretty this is. This is Old Olive with Darling Duckling, and it's got its own, it really has that own little shimmer and glimmer to it. So one side you can use and have the Old Olive as the dominant color with a little bit of the Darling Duckling iridescence coming through, or the other side, which is the Darling Duckling with a little bit of the Old Olive coming through. I think I'm going to use this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a puddle right about in the middle like this, just maybe 2 or 3 passes. And then I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm going to plunk it on like this. And yes, it's a little bit long, so we'll cut it, not a problem. And I'm going to put this one on like this. And then I am going to come in with my ribbon scissors right now and just trim this off a little bit. I like the bevel cut look, so I'm going to bevel cut it like that. And I'm going to do this side, the same thing. And then this one a little bit shorter. There we go. I like it. And then I'm going to now put on my pear. So the pear is going to go on just like this. And then I'm going to take the leaves. Now, what did I do with the leaves? Where are they? What did I do with them? They're right. They were right. Ah, here they are. And I'm going to take these little things off. Now, I am going to give this pear and the leaves a little bit of Winky, just to make it shiny, just to give it a little bit of extra, you know, just some extra pizzazz here. And I think I'm going to do it like this. And then I'm going to take my Winky and just very gently, a little bit here on the stem. Isn't that pretty? And it just really highlights it. Plus, it adds some interest with the ribbon, because the ribbon has that sparkle in it. So then it just makes it, you know, kind of complement each other. I like it like this. There we go. So there's that. Whoops, I forgot a little spot right there. All right, there's that. Now let me get this out of the way. All right, the next thing is I'm going to, now this Winky, you know, it dries very quickly, so I'm just going to add, turn it over. I probably should have done it the other way. I probably should have done the application of this layer on the card base and then go ahead and done the Winky, but it really doesn't matter. Hey, Pam, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm so glad you're joining me this morning. Nice group of people today. All right, so here is this. It's going on just like this. Talk about easy. There we go. Perfect. And I'll press that down. And now the next thing I'm going to do, let me get this out of the way, is I'm going to add some gems. Of course I'm going to add some gems because there are gems that came with this. Look at how pretty these are. These are called the low profile sparkle dots. Aren't they beautiful? So I think this time on this card, what I did was I added the olive green ones. But I think on this card, I'm going to add the Duckling Darling ones. So let me get out my tool here. And I'm going to put 3 on. So I think what I'll do is I'll put a large one. Probably, I think I'll put the large one right up here. And then I'm going to put 2 small ones on. Whoops, get over here. And I think I'll put one down here right near that ribbon. And then I'm going to take another one and I'm going to put it over on this side. But I think what I'll do, I think I'll put it right here at the top of this. There we go. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add the word thank you, because this is going to be a thank you card. And I'm going to put it in. Now I already stamped it, and I used the thank you from the, let's see, from the Perfectly Pairs right here. I use that word. You could use whatever you want, of course. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to anchor it so that the thank you, the TH is going to be on the pair and the U is going to be on the designer paper. But in order to do that so that it's nice and equal, I'm going to take one dimensional and I'm going to put the dimensional on the side where it says U, like that. And then I'm going to take some adhesive. I'm going to take some snail and I'm going to add the snail right here, because doing that is going to allow this whole thing to be level. Because if I put a dimensional on both sides, then you'd have one that would be higher and one that would be lower, and I don't want that to look like that. So this is going to go on like this. It would be cattywampus, and sometimes cattywampus is good, and sometimes cattywampus is not so good. Wait a minute, I just see a smidgen, a tiny little smidgen of the dimensional. So let me just pull that off with my snippies. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to put it on just like this. Perfect, like that. Look at that. Now there is that card. What do you think? Isn't that pretty? Oh, I just think it's such a pretty card. Now, of course, we have to treat the envelope with some extra love. And as I said before, I did go ahead and stamp one of the flowers on it in the Darling Duckling. But I am going to now take an envelope flap and use some of this on here, because when this is sitting in somebody's mailbox, or if you're giving it to them as a gift in a gift box, they're going to look and say, what is this beautiful thing coming to me, and who made this? But they probably can guess who made it, because how many of you make cards and give them to your friends as gifts, and then they always call you up and say, oh my gosh, look at how gorgeous this is. You made this? Thank you so much. You're so talented. And yes, we are. We're great copiers. We're great creators, and we make really lovely gifts for people. And we use them ourselves to send out pretty often. So look at that. How pretty is that? Isn't that a pretty flap? So here is the card that I just made in very short order. And these would make absolutely gorgeous gifts for somebody. So there's that one. We'll make these next week. All right, now let's get to the Christmas card. So this is Christmas number 5. Can you believe it? August. Christmas in August 2025, and here we are. And this is the card that I put on my newsletter. So I'm going to replicate that. I'm going to show you how to do that. Let's get all the stuff needed for this. And there's a cute little technique in here too that I'm going to show you. So anyway, we start with the basic white, blah, blah, blah. You know how to do that. And then there are 2 embossing folders that you can use. This one I use Snowflake Sky. Snowflake Sky, you really can't see it here, what it looks like. But this, I don't know, you can see it better there. Thank you, Pam. So see, the snow is falling from the sky like this. It's falling from the sky and these snowflakes are on it. So now I'm going to adhere this to the base. Very easy. I already ran that through. You don't need to see me doing that. And actually, because it's on the other side of the room, and I'd have to get up and go over there, and then you'd have to go get another cup of tea or whatever. Anyway, so, so here we go. All right, that is going to go on the base just like that. And I am going to take my Winky, and I'm just going to highlight some of these snowflakes like this. And notice, whoops, whoa, well, that's going to be a little comet. That's a silver comet coming to Earth. All right, but notice how I'm not using the tip of it. I want to kind of use the bevel side, the side of it like this, so that I can just easily just brush it on a little bit, just like this. Just a little bit, hither and yon, okay, like that. All right, so then the next thing I'm going to do is take a piece of shimmery white cardstock. Shimmery white is really pretty. I don't think you can see it on here. I don't know if I put my light on, if that makes a difference, if you can see the shimmer. But there is a very subtle shimmer to this. It's beautiful. So this is going to be layered on next. So what I'm going to do is just add some adhesive here. And I'm going to put this right in the center like this. And then what I'm going to do, what I've already done actually, is I took the, this is called Yuletide Village, the Yuletide Village stamp set. I love it. It's so pretty. So many beautiful images, like the houses, the trees. It's got a little garland here with lights, some snowflakes, a brick wall. But what I did is I took the church image, I stamped it in soft suede, and here it is right here. So I'm going to color this, and just because it's easier to see on my silicone pad, I'm just going to leave it like that, and I'm going to color it. And I'm not going to do a lot of coloring here. I'm going to color, I'm going to color the wreath just a little bit. And on this, I'm just kind of daubing it in, as you can see, very carefully, because I don't want to get it on spots where it shouldn't be. So that worked pretty nicely, like that. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to do is take my real red marker, and I'm going to color the little bow right at the top here, like this, like that. Then the next thing I'm going to do, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the door too. If there are any Episcopalians out there, traditionally in Episcopalian churches, doors are red. I don't know why. I should have known. I should know that, but I don't. I'm a former Episcopalian. But so when you go by churches that have red doors, it's a very good possibility it's an Episcopalian church. So this is just in honor of the Episcopal red doors. I'm sure other churches have red doors, but there we go. Okay, so there's that. A little red door. Then I'm going to take my lemon lolly, the dark lemon lolly, and what I'm going to do is add some light so that it looks like the church is alive and well with people at this hour. There we go. So it looks like that, very carefully. And I'm almost done this part. And I'm going to show you a fun way to emboss the message on the inside and the outside, because I did a message for this on the outside. So there's that. Okay, so then that is done. Now I will take my Wink of Stella, of course, and what I did was I did color this whole thing in. I did do the Wink of Stella because, once again, I wanted it to reflect some of the shimmering white cardstock that it's going to sit on. I want it to give it that extra little subtle, it is subtle, but a nice little pop of color, or color of, that's not colored, it's shine. So let's get this on like this. Okay, so there's that. And, oh, you know what? I forgot to color the tree. I forgot to color the tree. Let me come over here and color this little fir tree like this. I love to color. How many hundreds of times have you heard me say that? Okay, all right. There, that's done. All right, and then just a little bit more winky here. See, you can see the difference. I don't know if you can see it on film, but you definitely can see it in person. That wink just adds just a nice little extra touch. But we're not done yet. Okay, now let me add a little bit here to the snow. Okay, so there's that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some dimensionals to this to pop this up. And I'm going to put a bunch of them on because you definitely want it to stick up nicely. With the steeple, you have to add another little piece of dimensional because the steeple needs to be nice and straight. So I'm just going to take my little snippies, and what I'm going to do is cut a little piece, just a little piece, maybe like about this much. Whoa, it ran away from me. But that was kind of perfect the way it came out, angulated like that. So there is this, and I'm going to put this in just like this. I can put it up just a little bit higher. There we go. Oh, I got to snip one little section off. There. Okay, that looks good to me. So now let's get these little papers off. Thank you, Jan. Where do you see the other one? So this morning, I came down to make sure I had everything ready on my desk. And then all of a sudden, the light dawned on Marblehead. Oh, I think I should do another one. So I did. I made another one this morning. I'll show you as soon as I get this one all finished. It's the same, obviously the same template and everything. However, it's almost completely white. All right, so here is this. And now I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to put this on just like this. There we go, like that. Let me just see. That looks good, like this. Oh, the door didn't get any winky. How did that happen? Come on. There we go. There we go. Okay, then I already went ahead and did the greeting. I did Season's Greetings. I did it in Real Red, and I did it backed it with a piece of Real Red. But what I did was, if you can see, I don't know if you can see, let me see if I can bring that up. Can you see it's got a little bit of shine to it? What I did was I added clear embossing powder. And I'm going to show you how to do this. But for right now, this is going to get put on with dimensionals. And then I'll show you the inside how I did this. Because this is a fun technique to do. Let me put one there and one here. And let me make sure I don't have this showing down. I don't. And then what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of adhesive to the top of this, because this is going to go just a little bit on the top. All right, and make sure it comes, see there's a little bit of adhesive right there, so I'm just going to fold it down like that, fold it back. And then I'm going to take this paper off and the other one, pop these babies right off. And, oop, there's another little sneaky piece right there. Okay, now I'm going to bring this in and put this on just like this. There we go. Perfect. Okay, and then for the last, excuse me. All right, so the last thing is I'm going to put a little silver bow on, and I'm going to use a glue dot, and I'm going to put it right here. No, I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to pop this piece off, and then I'm going to take another glue dot, and I'm going to put it to the right side and then to the left side, another one to the left side, because I really want this twine. You know, the metallic twines need a little bit of extra love when you're putting them on your projects, because it is metallic. It doesn't have the flexibility, if you will. So the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this glue dot and fold it on top of itself like this, so that only the twine will stick. There won't be any adhesive showing through, because if there is, it's going to stick to your card. So here, stick to your envelope. So then I'm going to put this on just like this, and I'm going to press it with my fingernails really firmly. And at the same time, I'm feeling whether or not there is any adhesive stuck out, and there is just a little tiny bit. So I'm just going to, there we go. I'm going to move that piece of the ribbon down on top of it, and there we go. Now I am going to trim this out just a tiny little bit. Okay, so there's that. That front is done. Thank you, Jan. Have a great week. I think you're off to do something, but thank you for popping in, and hopefully we'll see you next week too. All right, so now we're going to do the inside on this. So the inside, I'm going to show you this. This is so much fun. I am going to take this message. It says bright and happy Christmas wishes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my red ink ready. I've got my Versamark. I've got my rosin pad. I'm going to take this, and I have to turn it around so I can do it correctly here. I'm going to give it a little bit of love right here, because I only want the embossing powder to stick to the message itself. I'm going to take my Versamark. I'm going to ink up my stamp with the Versamark, get a good amount on that, and then I'm going to come right into my red ink. I'm going to show you right here. I'm going to come in right into the red ink. Don't worry, Versamark does not affect your inks. So now it's nice and colored, and I'm going to come in and stamp it right here, just like that. Look at that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my embossing powder. Now this is a package of embossing powder. It's clear embossing powder with some iridescent ice added, just to give it a little bit of extra pizzazz, because you know how I am. All right, so let me move this out of the way, and let me bring this in. And here is my little, it's not a little container, it's a big container. There we go. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to move that out of the way. And I'm going to take my heat tool, and we'll heat this up. This will take a minute, but once it heats up, it will start changing that matte color to bright red with a lot of shimmer. And here it goes. Look at that. Just an extra way to make it kind of special. And there we go. Now, if you can see, let me show you that. Can you see that? There you go. Can you see it? It's bright, it's shiny, and there's a little bit of iridescence to that. Isn't that fun? That's a great way that you can add any kind of clear embossing powder to any one of your inks. But you have to wash it in between. So now the next time I would do it, I would take my stamp. I have to clean this off because it's got red ink on it. If I put it in the Versamark, then Good morning, Linda. Thank you for popping on. As I was saying about this, you have to clean it, because if I put it in the Versamark, then I'd get red ink in the Versamark. So you simply clean it and then start all over again. So these are the cards that we're going to do next week. Let me bring this back in. There is our pear card, and here is our Christmas card. Now, I said I had one more card to show you that I was doing this morning, so let me bring that one in. I thought, let me try this with basically an all-white version. So this is a basic white base, and then I took a layer of the beige, our new beige color. Isn't that pretty, basic beige? And I did, this is a 5 1/4 by 4. Then I took a piece of white, which is 5 3/4 by 5 by 3 3/4, and I ran it through. Excuse me, I got a frog in my throat this morning. The winter snow embossing folder. This is all snowflakes. I don't know if you can see that or not, but anyway, on here you can. It's got all snowflakes. Then again, the Spotlight on Nature die, and then the church. I stamped it in soft suede, and then I added some snow. You see the little snow that's puffed up? This is puffed paint. So you put it on, and you heat it with your heat tool, and it makes it puff up a little bit like snow. Of course, I took Winky, and I colored the whole thing in Winky. but you'll notice that there's a little tiny bit of color to it. And what I did was I made sure that I got a little bit of the soft suede ink on the tip of my Winky, and I kind of just lightly dragged it through the entire image. And the snowflake, there's snow on the Christmas tree, there's snow right here. And then I took this basic beige ribbon and made a little bow, and there we have it. So if you want to do this next week, you certainly can. You just have to let me know. But these are the projects that we will be doing next week. So, my friends, that is it for this beautiful day in August. I hope that you're going to have a fun weekend, and I hope you're going to have a productive or relaxing or both week next week. I truly appreciate you popping in every Friday morning. It means a lot to me, and I thank you for your